Hi, this is JP, you're watching the Coffee Channel, and today I'm going to be talking about water. Now it's quite a complicated topic and it does involve a lot of chemistry, so I'm going to try and keep it simple and not go too far down that rabbit hole. Now there are three main minerals that we're interested in that are present in water that will affect the flavour of your coffee. There's magnesium, there's calcium and there's bicarbonate. Now calcium and magnesium both act as flavour carriers, so they're quite good things, especially for light roast coffees. Bicarbonate reacts with the magnesium or the calcium in your water and creates limescale, which is a bad thing for your equipment. Too much bicarbonate is also bad for the flavour of your coffee, particularly light roast, because it acts as a buffer and reduces the acidity in the coffee. Now, there haven't been many options for home users for filtering their water to get it tasting good for coffee over the years. Most filters that are used in home environments will filter out everything. So you'll end up with a coffee that doesn't have much flavour to it because those minerals will have disappeared. Now recently, Maxwell Colonna Dashwood, who, full disclosure here, is someone I know and is somebody who trained me in coffee, but I'm going to be impartial here anyway. You know, I can judge this pretty with an open mind, has created this peak water filter. And the difference between this and other water filters is this is specifically designed for coffee. How does it do that? Well, it's a two-stage filtration system basically. So one filter will take out all of the bicarbonate, all of the magnesium, all of the calcium, all of your minerals, and any other organic compounds in there. Another filter will take out just the organic compounds. And then there is a bypass, which you can control here, which will let the second filter filter more of the water. So you take a little water hardness strip that you get with the kit, you test the hardness of your water, and then it will give you a recommended setting. What we're going to do today is we're going to test this out against our tap water, which I've checked is extremely hard. It's got lots of minerals in it, it's got lots of bicarbonate, not much magnesium, but quite a bit of calcium. So I'm expecting quite a flat tasting coffee from the tap water. This should make a big difference in theory. But to ensure that we've not got any confirmation bias here, we're going to do a normal taste testing with this against tap water. Then we're going to do a second tasting where it's completely blind and we're going to choose a winner. Let's start the brewing, which I'm going to do on an AeroPress with this Mzingo Project Ugandan natural coffee from Gardelli, which I know well, so I know what grind setting to grind it on. I know the recipe that I'm going to use. It's a familiar coffee to me. I know how it should taste if it tastes good, so we'll see what difference this makes.
A few minutes later.
Right, we're back. We've brewed the coffees. On this side, we have the one with peak water. On this side, we've got the one with tap water. Now I had to use a fairly aggressive setting on the peak water filter to get it to work correctly. I was on about 4 out of 5, so we've got pretty hard water here. So although some of the minerals in there will be good, the calcium will be good in the tap water, there's a lot of bicarbonate and that should reduce the acidity of the coffee. Now this is quite an acidic coffee anyway, and you want some of that balance. You don't want too much acidity, but you want to get those fruit flavours, those sort of cherry acidity, and maybe some of those chocolatey flavours as well in the background. So let's go with the peak water first and see what we get. Okay, so really clear flavours there. It's like the Black Forest Gatto, I always think. There's that kind of cherry, there's a bit of booziness from the natural process. There's a bit of chocolate there, like a dark chocolate, but not that bitter taste you get with an over-extracted coffee. It's just nicely balanced, so let's try again. Yeah, and that acidity is nicely balanced by the sweetness. There's no sort of lingering nasty acidity in your mouth. Pretty good coffee, I'd say. I'd be happy to be served that in any coffee shop. I'd be more than happy, in fact. Okay, let's move over to the tap water one now and see if we can discern a difference. Okay, so the basic flavour's still there. It's a little bit more muted, so everything's like the volume's been turned down a bit. There's a bit of chalkiness, I guess, from the bicarbonate in there. The mouthfeel is a bit more viscous actually, so it feels a bit thicker, weirdly enough. I guess that must be a product of the bicarbonate as well. Let's have a second sip. Okay, still actually a pretty good tasting coffee. Again, I'd be glad to try that anywhere, but it's just slightly less good than this. Not as big as you'd think, but the Peak filter has made a difference. That is coffee shop quality coffee, I'd say. This one here, just a little bit lower, not quite as good. Okay, so to check that we're not getting some sort of confirmation bias here, I've got a couple of ones here that I made earlier with the Peak water and with the tap water, and I don't know which is which, but my colleagues on the camera here do know which is which. So I'm going to test these out and see whether I can discern which one is which without knowing in advance. Okay, so this is slightly cooler. I made them a little bit earlier, so they've cooled down quite a bit, which sometimes brings out more of the flavours, to be honest. Okay, that's the first one. And that's the second one. Okay, let's try again. Number one. I'd say of the two, this one has a bit more vibrancy, a bit more acidity, a bit of a nicer flavour. Just double check though. Yeah, so this one is a bit more muted. I think that is the tap water and that is the Peak water. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
I am correct. Well, it's always good to know these things. So, okay, let's have a final look at it then. So, definitely makes a difference. Really worth it for your home coffee use, I'd say. It's 55 quid, it's not a big investment. The filters last a long time. We're going to be doing an unboxing and look at this in more detail in another video. The only thing I will say is it can't add things back to water that's already soft. So if you live in an area with really soft water, you're not going to get those elements, those minerals back into the water. So it's only going to sort of make a diluted version of your existing water. So it may not be as good or as effective in a very soft water area as it is here in a hard water area. There are a few little issues with it. The spout isn't brilliant. I think these have been addressed in the very latest model. The spout tends to pour in a funny way and water goes off all over the place if you're not careful. And it could do with some knurling really on this dial, which I think they have put into the latest model. But apart from that, it's a brilliant bit of kit. Filters last for about 3 months or 90 uses, I think, in most water areas. Obviously, it lasts a bit less long if you're in a really hard water area. Yeah, it's going to make a big difference to your home coffee. It's going to make it much more consistent because you're going to know each time this is what I've got. I'm going to get this. This water's going to be exactly right for what I want to use it for once you've set it up. You can also adjust it if you want to have a different coffee. So if you've got a coffee that maybe requires a softer sort of water, you can actually adjust the level up. So maybe something like a floral coffee like Geisha would require a softer water. Some coffees might require a slightly harder water, and you can do that as well. Dark coffees might require a softer water. Anything that requires higher extraction, you can ramp it up a bit. Okay, as ever, subscribe, like, comment. Always happy to answer your questions, either Instagram or YouTube, and we'll see you for the next video. Thanks for watching.